tonight?
Say it again?
Celtics tonight?
Yeah, I'm in there.
Are you in?
Yeah, we need a win today. We need a win today. I ain't gonna say too much. I don't want to jinx them. I want.
You like going in though?
Yeah, I love having the opportunity to go see them guys play in their element, especially around playoff time. It's big time basketball. So, and the 76ers giving us a nice little run for our money. So, I'm excited for the game tonight.
Looking at your James Harden beard.
The beard? Nah, this ain't James Harden-esque. This is more of my flavor. So, yeah.
Who'd you root for when you were younger?
I actually grew up a C's fan.
Really?
Yeah, growing up in the Ray Allen, Eddie House, KG, all those guys, Paul Pierce, that era. I always liked seeing, surprisingly, seeing good defense around that time. So, and they was stopping teams at like 80 points a game at that moment. So it was good times for sure.
Have you grown close with any of the current players?
On the C's? Yeah, I had the opportunity to go to Jason Tatum's event on his shoe release. It was a great showing for sure, being able to see players around my age, being able to get out in the community and seeing his effect on the community as well. Also getting out and seeing the other teams around the area, whether that be Bruins players, Red Sox players, C's players. Like, it's always good to kind of get out and adventure a little bit. So that was a good experience for me.
How is that for camaraderie too? You feel like with your teammates that go to the games and interacting with different athletes from Boston? And all the teams are competitive, championship caliber basketball.
Yeah, it's always good just because you're all representing the same area. So you're able to see the effect. Always, when we have our games on Sundays, seeing those guys on the sideline, you kind of realize how tight-knit everything is. Like, we all fighting for the same area. We all competing for the New England area. So it's always puts a little smile on your face when you see different guys from different teams showing support and showing love, whether they be fans of the team or not. Because sometimes we put that on them. Like, you may be from a different area. You don't necessarily have to be a fan of the team, but just showing support for the team definitely means a lot.
Ja'Whaun, I think you've improved in front of us. I think every year you've played. You know, your stats every year get higher and higher. You know, what do you attribute that to? And what do you have to do this year to take another step?
I would say, I feel like every player's goal is to year in and year out just improve. So I just made that my goal to each time, not even from year to year, from game to game, just try to find that improvement and not just let it be a cliche term, but actually putting action to it and critiquing yourself. A lot of people say they're their own worst critic, but unless you show action behind it, it's really kind of just words. So I just try to improve daily, whether that be physically, leadership qualities, all the intangibles that come with it, and bringing guys along with me. It's no fun when you're doing it by yourself. So anytime you get the opportunity to bring someone along with you, it's always good.
Do you make a list each offseason of what you prioritize getting better at?
We always kind of have it in your head, even when you watch the tape and kind of self-scout yourself. Some coaches may not see it, but you just constantly watching yourself. You're like, oh, I took a bad step here, things like that. And around this time of year is the time where you kind of get to hone in on those things, because it's kind of hard to go back and do that in the middle of the season, but it's easy to do that and improve upon those things throughout this time. So that's big.
Knowing that Jarod has had interview opportunities elsewhere in recent years and his name was linked to opportunities potentially this year, what was your reaction when you saw that he was going to be around, perhaps in an extended role?
Well, it's always a smile on my face anytime I get to see Jarod in the building. A fantastic coach, so I'm never surprised that his name is ringing bells elsewhere. But aside from that, I mean, you ask anyone in this building, he has a huge part to do with a lot of things we get done in this building. So seeing him around the building, or if he was to go elsewhere, is definitely, regardless, we all happy for him. We're family in that aspect of things. We're always excited just to see each other do well, no matter what it is. So to have him back is definitely good for us.
What is it about him that makes him, a good coach, or in that conversation for head coaching jobs from the view of a player that is working under him?
I mean, aside from him being a past player, he's able to kind of see it through our lens. I mean, he's not too far removed from the game, so him, like, he'll see it in our eyes. We'll show him what's happening on the field, and he's able to, most of the time before we even get to him, he knows what's happening. So that's always good. to have another set of eyes that's able to watch it from you, especially being another backer and seeing just seeing through the same lens. So it's always good to have that.
Went to the Pine Street Inn earlier this offseason. What's that experience like?
Love that question. Great. I feel like that's the main word for sure. It was a great experience. It was an opportunity for me to get out in the community a little bit more, especially dealing with Pine Street. It was my second time being with them, so just being able to speak, and I was able to speak to a kind of big group. Kind of caught me off guard a little bit, but I was just speaking from the heart and sharing my experiences with everyone else. I grew up in a home insecurities and things like that. So just being able to share my story, and hopefully it reached the people it was supposed to reach. Every message is not going to hit everybody how you want it to, but you just sharing your story, you hope you just grab one person and somebody attaches to it, and your story just kind of goes out into the world, and hopefully somebody reaps the benefit from it. But I just make it my goal to kind of share my story, and hopefully somebody grabs on it.
When you head into this year and the final year of your contract, and we all know the league is a business, and I was wondering, how do you go about handling your business in a way you don't let that stuff, create, whatever, anxiety or pressure, where it becomes a detriment on the field?
Well, I don't see that stuff. I pay attention to. I keep the main thing the main thing. I can't really worry about what everybody else is saying. If you do, you'll lose your mind. It's a lot of stuff going on, and that can't be the main thing on the table. So as far as when it comes to me, I make sure and I would say this is kind of advice to young guys too, just keep the main thing the main thing. Don't worry about all the outside noise, because that's all it is. It's outside noise. You can't do anything about it. So just be in the moment, and at the end of the day, you gotta make the most out of every opportunity that you have. So whether that's just improving your game, that should be your main focus. So yeah.
Does the same go for what other teams around the league are doing in the offseason?
As far as what?
Well, just like moves and news being made around the division, perhaps, around the league.
You gotta give me a question. I see what's happening. You got, but yeah, obviously, you're always excited to see the different moves teams make. Just adding competition around the league. That's always. I mean, I thrive off just competition in general. So, especially in our division, seeing the different moves teams make, it always gets you excited about what's to come as far as the league. I feel like every team just gets better every single year. So each week you got a different opportunity, a different task on your hands. So I'm always eager to get out there and see what the next team has and what they're cooking up, and so we have the opportunity to stop it. So I always get excited around this time.
In terms of the moves you guys made, it seemed like you guys had a bunch of free agents on the defensive side of the ball, and besides Devin retired, pretty much everybody's back. What does that mean to you that the group you were with last year is kind of back and trying again?
Well, I would say you don't spend as much time building camaraderie because you're the same. You kind of bringing in the same guys, other than a few pieces here and there. But at the end of the day, you're still looking to improve. So whether you bring in new guys or not, the improvement, we try to keep that steady track and just trying to get better individually and as a unit, just being on the same page. And at the end of the day, we're trying to build each side of the ball, offense and defense, and then we got to come together as one team. So right now, this is kind of that moment right now where we just learning each other.
To Bob's question about additions in the division, you saw Aaron Rodgers up close last year. You'll see him twice now with the Jets. What was your impression of facing him last year, and how do you see him fitting in with the Jets, maybe elevating that offense?
Well, Aaron Rodgers, I mean, definitely a fantastic quarterback for sure. Definitely is going to add some things to the Jets as far as their offense is concerned. So, hands down, is going to be a hell of an opportunity for us to go against him twice a year. But if you ask us, we're excited about the opportunity. You have no choice but to be excited about it, because I mean, you can't go out there trading your feet or anything like that. But like I said, seeing moves like that, you kind of get excited, especially around the division, because it just adds all the. I know you guys love it as far as building the story behind it. So at the end of the day, we just look to go out there and compete, and we just having fun. So at the end of the day, we just look to come out with the win. But I mean, it's early, so one day at a time.
Jarod recently said that he thought Dante Hightower would make a great coach. Do you agree with that?
For sure. I mean, kind of let High do his thing as far as like enjoying retirement and things like that. Shout out to Hightower for retirement, by the way. Legendary player. I can't say enough things about Hightower. When I came in the building, I always tell him a story how me being a young player in high school, reached out to him on Instagram. He was the player that I looked up to, him and Jamie Collins. So having the opportunity to play with both of those guys and then being my mentors and my OGs, so to speak, being able to grasp all the things that they did and being able to play alongside of them, I learned a lot. Can't say it enough. We still talk to this day. Probably when I get off the podium, we'll be talking to each other. So he's definitely a pillar as far as like this defense and this team is concerned. So shout out to Hightower, and I hope him as well as Dev, as well as Jamie and all those guys, I hope they enjoy whatever they plan on to do in this second chapter of their careers.
Over the next 24, 48 hours, we're going to find out who the Patriots play in Germany for that one game. As a player, what are your thoughts on playing a game in Germany?
Open-minded. I'm open-minded. I've never been to Germany. I mean, I've heard nothing but great things about it, whether that's from Seabass and hearing everybody have a great story about it. But playing over, that'll be my first time playing even out of the country. So this is a whole new thing for all of us. So we're excited. I mean, you can't. Football is football at the end of the day. So once you hit the field, obviously you get in that mode. But just seeing the opportunity and where football is able to take you is huge. So we're excited about it.
Your final question? What would you say makes a successful voluntary off-season program?
I would say that's real subjective. So I would say, in my opinion, me personally, just learning each other. This is a huge opportunity. I mean, obviously, you're not going out there competing against each other. There's no wins or losses and none of this. But you just look to take huge strides, whether that be at this moment when the rookies come in, things like that. Just being able to learn each other so when we come back and when it's time for the real things to start flowing, just being able to just pick up where we left off and just being able to click on all cylinders as much as we can and just put good product out there. That's the main thing.
He's not over your shoulder or anything, but what did you learn about Chris Board since he's been here? I mean, he's not in the room or anything.
Is he? I mean, hard worker. That's one thing that jumps out to you. I mean, I've been telling Chris that we knew a lot about him before he even got here, watching film and just seeing how hard he plays and the impact that he makes on teams. So we're excited to have him in this building, and I'm excited to not have to go against him like that no more. So excited to have Chris, and I can't wait to see what him and as well as the other guys that we have the opportunity to play with and see how we get the pieces together. Appreciate you guys. Go Seas.